My family called me the poor cousin. Tomorrow, they would call me boss. The annual Hamilton family reunion was a glittering spectacle of arrogance, and I was their favorite exhibit. My cousin Diana's diamond bracelet flashed like a cruel wink as she raised her champagne glass. Oh, look, the poor cousin finally showed up, driving that same old Toyota all around Uncle Richard's mansion. My successful cousins, doctors, lawyers, executives flaunted their wealth, a chorus of condescension designed to remind me of my place at the bottom of the family food chain. I adjusted the sleeve of my simple black blazer. They assumed it was off the rack. In reality, it was custom made in Milan. Hello, Diana. Congratulations on your promotion to VP. Junior VP of Marketing at Hamilton Industries? She corrected, preening. Daddy says, I'll make full VP by next year. Her eyes swept over my outfit with mock pity. You know, if you ever need career advice, if she only knew, while they played at being royalty, I was the silent architect of their kingdom. I owned 47% of Hamilton Industries through a complex web of shell companies. But that wasn't public knowledge yet. Alexandra, Uncle Richard boomed, approaching with his son Bradley. Still working at that? What was it again? Investment consulting? I replied quietly. What they imagined was a one-woman firm was actually Pierce Global Investments, one of the largest private equity firms in the country. They'd never bothered to Google me. Bradley smirked, running a hand through his expertly styled hair. Must be tough watching all of us succeed while you're still consulting. He said the word as if it were a disease. I simply smiled, thinking of the merger documents in my briefcase. Hamilton Industries was desperately trying to acquire Tech Solutions to save their failing company. What they didn't know was that I owned Tech Solutions. How's the merger going? I asked innocently. I heard there were some complications. Uncle Richard's smile tightened. Just minor details. Everything will be finalized tomorrow morning. Really? I took a sip of champagne. I heard the major stakeholder hasn't signed off yet. Bradley waved a dismissive hand. Some anonymous investor. Daddy's lawyers will handle it. Nobody says no to Hamilton Industries. My phone buzzed discreetly. A message from my executive team. Tech Solutions board ready for tomorrow. All documents prepared for your signature. Speaking of business, Diana chimed in. We're all heading to the Hamptons next weekend on the family jet. But don't worry, Alexandra. We know you're busy. The jet they thought was Uncle Richard's had been mine for a year, leased back to them through a subsidiary after Hamilton Industries had to liquidate it to stay afloat. Aunt Margaret joined us, dripping in jewels. Alexandra, dear, you're welcome to help the catering staff if you're uncomfortable. We know large gatherings can be overwhelming for those not used to our circle. I thought of the Forbes article sitting in my inbox, waiting to be published. Alexandra Pierce, the silent queen of Wall Street. Thank you, Aunt Margaret, but I'm fine here. I checked my watch, an understated Patek Philippe that costs more than their country club dues, although I should leave soon. I have an early meeting tomorrow. Bradley barked a laugh. Another exciting day of consulting. Something like that, I said. Actually, it's about a merger. Uncle Richard's head snapped up. Merger. Yes, I gathered my things. A rather important one. Someone needs to sign some papers. As I walked toward my old Toyota, an elaborate disguise for my driver Diana called out, "Don't forget your place, cousin dear. Not everyone can be a Hamilton success story." I turned back one last time, a cool smile on my lips. We'll see about that tomorrow, won't we? They had no idea that in less than 12 hours, their entire world was about to shatter. The next morning, I didn't just crash the party. I owned the building. I arrived at Hamilton Industries an hour early, bypassing the main lobby where my cousins would strut and entering through the private elevator to the executive boardroom. Miss Pierce, my assistant, Sarah, greeted me. The Hamilton family is gathering downstairs. Mr. Richard Hamilton appears. Agitated, I imagine he is, I said, settling into the chair at the head of the immense table. Has he figured out why his lawyers couldn't reach the owner of Tech Solutions? No. They spent all night trying to contact Pierce Global Investments. Apparently, they don't have your private number. I opened my laptop, reviewing the true, damning financials of Hamilton Industries numbers my uncle had hidden from his board. Without this merger, they were 6 months from bankruptcy. Their entire empire was a facade of debt and delusion. At exactly 9 a.m., the boardroom doors burst open. Uncle Richard stormed in, followed by Bradley and Diana. All three froze mid. Alexandra, Uncle Richard sputtered, his face flushing. What is the meaning of this? This is a private meeting, is it? I replied, my voice calm and steady. I thought this was the Tech Solutions merger meeting. I'm right where I belong. Bradley laughed nervously. This is ridiculous, security. They work for me now, I stated softly. Well, technically, they always did. Titan Security Services is a subsidiary of Pierce Global Investments. Diana's perfectly sculpted eyebrows furrowed in confusion. Pierce Global. But that's the company we need approval from. Yes, I finished for her. It is. Please, family, take a seat. We have a lot to discuss. As the rest of the board and lawyers filed in, I projected Hamilton Industries' real financial statements onto the wall. The room erupted in horrified whispers. This is impossible, Uncle Richard declared, his voice trembling. You're just a consultant. Actually, Uncle, I'm the CEO and founder of Pierce Global Investments. We control Tech Solutions and about 30% of your company's debt. I let the silence hang for a beat. Surprised, Diana's diamond bracelet clinked against the table as her hand trembled. Now, I continued, pulling out the real merger documents. Let's talk about what this deal actually looks like. Your company is failing. You've been cooking the books for years. Bradley jumped to his feet. You can't prove that. I can prove everything. I cut him off, my voice sharp as a blade. Every false report, every hidden account, every time you used company funds for personal expenses, like that family jet you love so much. The one I own. Uncle Richard collapsed into a chair, defeated. Why? He whispered. Why are you doing this to your own family? I leaned forward, my gaze sweeping over each of them. For years, you've treated me like I was beneath you. The poor cousin, the failure. Well, guess what? My voice dropped to a steely calm. I now own the table. I stood, commanding the room with an authority they could only pretend to have. Here's what's going to happen. I will approve the merger, saving your company and what's left of your reputations. But there will be changes. I slid documents across the polished table. First, Bradley and Diana will step down from their executive positions. Those jobs will go to qualified professionals, not family members playing at success. You can't do this, Diana shrieked, her composure shattering. Daddy, tell her I can, and I am. I pulled up performance reports on the screen. Your division has lost $30 million this year, Diana and Bradley. Your expertise has cost the company millions in bad investments. I turned my attention to my uncle. You will remain as chairman, but with significantly reduced power. The board will be restructured, and the first order of business will be full financial transparency. You're destroying us, he gasped. No, I corrected, my voice cold. You destroyed this company with your pride and fraud. I'm saving it. The new Hamilton Industries will be run on merit, not bloodlines. And Pierce Global will be the majority shareholder. I let my final words sink in. Consider it poetic justice. The poor cousin now owns the family empire. As my shell-shocked family filed out, Diana paused at the door, her mascara streaked with tears. I don't understand. Why didn't you tell us? I met her gaze, no longer hiding the steel behind my eyes. Would you have believed me? Or would you have just tried to use me, like you use everything else? A week later, the headlines celebrated the brilliant, mysterious CEO who had orchestrated the year's most shocking corporate takeover. I watched from my office as Bradley cleaned out his desk and Diana returned her company car. At the next family reunion, held at my 30,000 square foot estate, I watched my relatives arrive in their now leased luxury cars, their designer clothes seeming suddenly subdued. As they entered my Homer palace that made Uncle Richard's mansion look quaint, their eyes were wide with awe and fear. I stood at the top of the grand staircase, a glass of champagne in my hand. Welcome, family, I announced, my voice echoing through the marbled hall. Shall we begin again? This time, without assumptions about who belongs where. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just proving people wrong, it's becoming so undeniably powerful that they have to live with the memory of their every mistake every day. They called me the poor cousin, never realizing they were the ones who were poor all along, poor in judgment, in character, and in understanding what true success really means. And now they worked for me. Tell me in the comments below. And of course, subscribe for more stories about karma getting a little help from those who were wronged. Thanks for watching.